In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to export data from the Citadel database in Lookout into an Excel usable file, a comma separated value. So we need to open up NI Max. You can also access that from the Start menu, All Programs, and it's typically NI Max. So we'll open that up. On the left side, we'll have our historical data menu. We're going to expand that down. And then we'll find our database. We have a list of all of our databases on the system, so our default databases and then their primary database. From here, we'd typically we'd right-click, go New, create a new user folder. We called this one simply Reports. And then inside Reports, you're going to right-click, New, and New Trace View. From here, you're going to pick the items that you want to see in your report. So we'll go down to our system. For this one, we'll just simply use turbidities. So level, turbidity. And this is a development machine, so we don't have too much data on here. We should have enough to give us an idea. So we already have a report create turbidity as we were going through the process earlier, but they're identical. So you can right click as well and rename it, so we can just call this, for example, into U. Alright, so we have our report created with the items that we want. It tells us how far back the data goes and, most recent data, things like that. So from here, you right click, go to export to text. You can pick your start and stop time. I recommend picking start and stop time on systems that have a lot of data. Otherwise, you can have this file with just hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of records. And that can take quite a while to export, and importing it into Excel itself can take quite a while, depending on the machine. So for this example, we're just going to go ahead and pick all the way back to May 1st. We'll put this to 12:00:00. It'll push over right one more time. It'll show that PM, AM. So we'll go AM. So we want from the morning of the 1st. And we'll go ahead and set the no end time. We'll have it go all the way through to the day. Fill delimiter, comma, because we have a comma separated value. Interpolation, natural. We don't want any modification of the data. Time interval. This is dependent on how much data you really want. If this is a large time span, for example, we have here just over 3 months of data that, well, just a hair over 2 months of data. If we had every second, we have a huge file. So we're going to go ahead and set this for every 10 minutes, so 600 seconds. Okay, then from here, you're going to pick the folder where you want to go. In this example, we're going to go ahead and export it to our standard Lookout directory. Foreshock, Lookout, Reports, exported. And from here, you can create a new folder. For example, we created turbidity, and you can name the file. So in this example, we're using CCB1, CCB2, and we have our date span. And then in advanced, when you go over here, when you get rid of some extra data, we're going to delete all of this in here, making sure not to delete this first entry down here. So now we have all this clear data, and we'll leave this row alone, but down the row format, we only have a time entry for our date and time, and we want a little bit more information than that. So up here, we're going to put date time, and we're going to click on our variables from the right side and put date there. So date space between the times. So that way we have the date and the time showing up inside of the information. And we can save this format, so in the future we don't have to worry about making all these little changes. We'll save it as a standard CSV and hit OK. From here, we hit start and it'll export all the data. So in this example, we have 4,000 rows approximately. Okay, so then we're going to open up our file browser. We're going to go to the folder where we exported it. Lookout, Reports, exported, turbidity. So here is our file. And notice here we have just this random date time. It's not really usable. So we're going to right click, format cells. Again, format cells, we're going to pick our date, or we can go to time even, towards the bottom, and you can pick the date format you want, 24-hour format, or with AM PM. So this one we'll use AM PM. So we had it every 10 minutes, so there's 12 AM, 12:10 AM, 12:20, etc. And just to see, we have As you see, there's not really any data showing up because we don't have much data on this machine, but you'd have the raw values that were logged showing up inside of these items. So we have a little bit of data here. From here, you could do pretty much anything you want. You could make your trends, you could make your pie charts, anything you need to with that data. From here, you could also save it as a real Excel file, or you just leave it as a CSV file. Saving a CSV file, you won't get this format, you have to redo it. And that is pretty much it.